Hey guys, it's Jeff with Pisces Pet Emporium again, and welcome to today's video. Today is the third and final part of our series on building our own DIY paludarium with waterfall and natural backdrop. If you missed our previous video, we completed our natural backdrop by carving the spray foam, making our rub, siliconing the carved spray foam, and adding our rub to the silicone. And that process presented us with the product you see behind me. So in today's video, we're going to do decorating, we're going to test our waterfall, and we're going to add our water. So let's get started. We're going to start here by simply taking our paludarium lights and setting them up and placing them on top of our paludarium tank. So I just finished setting up my lights. Included in the kit, you get one UVB 5.0 bulb and you get one energy efficient LED bulb. I went with the UVB on the left side because we're going to be planting some moss in the waterfall, and that's going to help promote moss growth. And the LED, I just put on the right side. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to fill our cork bark with moss. We still have about half the box of sphagnum moss that we used in the previous video to make our backdrop rub. We have this little tray that came with it. We're going to fill this with water, soak some moss, and then stuff those cork tubes. So as you can see, I'm simply soaking the sphagnum moss in water and planting it in the cork barks. I'm just stuffing it back in there as tightly packed as I can get. It's going to expand as it dries. This is going to serve three purposes. The first is that it's going to cover the empty space in the back of the cork bark tube. The second is that it's going to act as a substrate for any live plants if you choose to plant live plants within the cork bark. And three, it's going to just raise the general relative humidity of your enclosure. Alright, so just finished doing the sphagnum moss, and now we're going to open up a box of ZooMed TERRARIUM moss, and we're going to do the exact same thing. The only difference is that this moss is green, and it's going to add a little pop of color. What I'm simply doing is the same thing I did last time, except with the terrarium moss. The terrarium moss is a nice bright green. So we're gonna pack it into any visual cracks that we can see and just add a pop of color to the tank. We're also gonna stuff it in where the water pump's gonna go. That's totally fine, and the water will easily find its way through the moss and create more of a dripping effect instead of a waterfall effect. Alright guys, so just finished and I'm very happy with how it's looking so far. We've used two mosses so far, and if you think we're done, you're wrong, because we have one more moss left, and that is the frog moss. We're going to use the tray for the last time, and we're going to soak our frog moss, put down a nice layer of moist substrate at the bottom of our tray, and add our frog moss on top. That is going to be our base for the paludarium. Frog moss is a little bit different than the other mosses. Unlike the stringy pull apart, these ones come off in large chunks with the substrate attached to the bottom. What you're going to do is take your chunks, pack them in the tray, and then pour water over the whole thing and give them a good 5-minute bath. That's going to bring the moss back to life again. And then we're going to take this moss out, plant some substrate, and then put the moss back on top. Frog moss requires very high humidity in order to thrive and survive. With that being said, if you meet all the requirements in order to keep frog moss alive, it is a bright green and beautiful moss to have in your terrarium. Alright, just finished planting all three of my mosses. As you can see, the nice bright green terrarium moss looks awesome. The dark brown sphagnum moss looks great on the back. And our frog moss is here, ready to be put into the tank. Now it is time to cut our tubing and test our waterfall pump. We're only going to fill the terrarium with enough water to actually make one full cycle. After we're confident that we're happy with everything, we're going to add the rocks, do some more decorating, and then add the rest of the water at the end of the video. So let's get started. The lid and the lights are now off the tank. Our pump is inside of the tank. Now we're going to take a razor blade and cut the extra tubing off, place our adapter inside, add it to the pump, add some water, and we're going to see what we got. All right guys, the flow rate looks great. So now what you can do is kind of fiddle with the moss, fiddle with the tube, fiddle with the flow rate on the actual pump itself until you kind of get the waterfall look that you're looking for. And after that, we can start decorating. So now what we're gonna do is take our substrate base and add that to the terrarium. Alrighty guys, so we are now ready to start decorating our paludarium. Art is mostly in the eye of the beholder, so you can kind of do whatever you feel looks good. I'm just going to roll with it and see what I come up with. I'm actually going to use a combination of live and fake plants. Now you can choose to use just live or just fake, or like me, combination of the two. That is totally up to you. We can't really go too crazy because it is only a 12 by 12 by 24 inch terrarium and our frog still needs room to move around and be a frog. So I'm just going to set you guys down, get to work, see what I come up with, and then explain what I've done after I'm finished. Alright guys, we're done. The tank is finished. I am ecstatic with how it turned out. I think it looks awesome. Starting from the ground up, I have the TERRA turtle pebbles. These are an awesome product. They are pre-rinsed large pebbles. You can put at the bottom of any kind of aquarium or paludarium. In the middle, I just have a centerpiece of spider wood. The water is a little bit dark right now, but as you cycle it and do water changes, what you're gonna need to do if you plan on putting some small fish in here, like white clouds, the water will clear up over time. Going up the top here, I have this nice long piece of vine for the frog to chill on. Bending this vine can be one of the most infuriating things you'll ever do in your life, but it's very satisfying when you finally get it in the position that you like. This is one of the Zoomid fake plants. I just cut the brim a bit and stuffed it into the back corner. This is another Zoomid fake plant. Did the same thing, but into the side. The waterfall still comes down out the back, and that pretty much does it, folks. I have some nice live plants. Planted one right here, and I also drilled a hole behind this guy here into the wood and planted one into the cork bark there. And yeah, that's about it. Without further ado, I think this is ready for our little tank mate, so let's go get him now. All right, we have our juvenile Amazon milk frog here, the new permanent resident of this enclosure, and we're gonna introduce him. Thanks again guys for tuning in. This was one of the most fun projects I've ever done here. Every single product that I use in this video you can find online at piscespets.com. All the links to the products will also be in the description below. I really hope this tank build encourages you to get out and do one yourself. This is such an awesome pet or setup to have for, like me, if you rent a small apartment. It takes up almost no space and you get all the satisfaction of owning an aquarium and a terrarium. Once again, my name is Jeff from Pisces Pet Emporium. Thanks again, guys. Have a good one.